Hi, I'm Daniel Huffstetler, and this is my app, the Barbershop app. So below are six of the features that I added on as part of the requirements. We were to create a model view controller style, and I used any functionality related to customer and appointments to go through a model object. Web API, I used an email validator. When a customer is either logged in and in their profile, they can change their email, or when they create a new account, they would enter an email. In both cases, it would use the email validator API to return a JSON on whether it was a valid email. Map functionality I used for the location finder on the home page of the app. Basically, there's two different locations for this barbershop. A customer can click either link, which will zoom into that location on the map. For persistent data, I used core data, and this is where all the customer and appointment entities are stored. On my image picker view, when a customer is logged in their profile, they're able to set their avatar, and this uses the image picker view style to pull up the gallery or the camera to choose their avatar. And lastly, if a customer is making an appointment, it takes them to an appointment view, which is a table view style view controller, which lists all the available barbers to choose from. So the home page of my app is the view controller here, but there are 5 total views that are all UI view controllers. From that home page, you can either go to a create account view controller or a customer view controller if you log in. The entities associated with this app or classes are a customer entity and an appointment entity, which have their own data members inside them. And the functionality for these two entities are controlled by the model. This model is used to get access information about these, make changes, or save data to these entity in the core data storage. So from the view controller, if I decided to log in, I'd be taken to the customer view controller, and the customer view controller um, allows a couple things to happen. You can either sign out or you can go to your profile or make an appointment. So if a customer were to go to their profile, it would take them to the profile view controller, and then they can change their avatar from in there. So that would bring up the picker view controller. So a couple of the libraries that need to be associated and attached to this are the UI image picker controller delegate and the UI image navigation controller delegate. If from the customer view, the customer wanted to make an appointment, it would take them to an appointment view controller, which is a table view style, and it would need to include the libraries from the table view, which are the table view delegate and the table view data source. Each cell in the table view of the appointments is based on a barber table view cell, which simply holds the name of the barber. If a barber is selected from that table view cell, it takes them to a barber view controller, which allows the appointment date and time to be set and saved. So using the model view design, all the functionalities are basically pushed through a model to change both the customer and appointment data. So from the view controller, some of the information that may be needed when a customer logs in is to check whether that customer is an actual customer or not, and to get that customer to push it on to any further views. So within that view controller, there are segues that lead to other views. If a customer is signed in, it's going to take them to a customer view. If they're creating an account, it's going to take them to an account view. And each one of these will communicate with the view through the segue. And once you're in a customer view, a similar options are available. You can go to 2 other views from here. You can go to both the appointment view or the profile view controller. If the customer would go to the view controller, profile view controller, the profile view controller is going to communicate with the model if it needs to change their email or change the password. Um, and also, They can change their avatar from here. So this is going to also include the image picker controller as well. If the customer decides to go into the appointment view, there's going to be a number of table view functionality that will communicate with the view. Also from the appointment view controller, there's a segue that leads them to the barber view. And lastly, in the barber view, if a customer is making an appointment, it's going to communicate with the model to save that appointment. Some of the capabilities that this app has, it gives the user the ability to create an account or log in. They can view locations on a map. They can make, edit, delete appointments, and they can change an avatar in their profile. Some of the limitations are in real world, you're probably not going to store your data on the app itself. There's probably going to be some database online on a server that a database manager is going to have access to, or the retailer or barbershop is going to have access to store their own customer and appointment information. One of the other limitations here is you're not really able to edit barbers here. This is more just a customer facing app. It's not an app that is necessarily for the barber itself. Another limitation is that the appointment choosing feature is not realistic. You type in a date and time instead of really selecting when the barber is available and saving it. And you could type in a string and it would save it as well. Um, on the map part, locations are shown on the map, but most of the time when you're trying to get a location, the customer would also want to get directions, and that functionality is not available here. And then lastly, for a barber, a lot of barbers do different types of things. They may be doing beard trimmings or cutting hair, and maybe they have specific types of haircuts that are different rates, whether the customer has long hair or not. And this doesn't give the customer the ability to specify what they're looking to get done. The biggest lessons I learned is they take a long time to create these apps, so it gives you respect for commercial grade apps and the amount of time and effort it takes to get them polished and fully functional. And as with anything, I mean, there are a lot of things that you don't anticipate when you're going through these. So you have to plan accordingly for changes to make sure that you have time to complete things. And lastly, I feel I learned a lot more about web APIs. I've had little practice with them in the past, so this gave me a good practice with it. Some of the suggestions for improvement. For me, I think the most challenging portion of this course was the persistent data. It was a little challenging to understand the managed context objects and how to use them. And the cloud based would have been a little nice since a lot of apps are going cloud based. If we had spent time on cloud based instead of the core data, I think it would have been more effective if we decided to go into this field and creating mobile apps. And then lastly, um, going into this, I expected it to be on all mobile platforms, not just iOS. Not that I'm upset about that, but it'd be cool to possibly have an option for Android courses or to give some information about other courses within this one.
When the app opens up, the first thing the user is going to see is a map of the United States. If they click either of the links below, it's going to take them to that location on the map. And these would represent just the two different barbershop locations. If there were realistic actual barbershops, it would link to where those are at. The user can also use the segmented button at the top to switch the view from satellite to standard on the map. And a user can create a new account and log in from this home screen. So let's enter some credentials here. Right now there are no users in the database, so it's going to give us a message saying that the username or password's invalid. And that's simply because we haven't created an account yet. So we're going to go in, create an account. First, I'll set all of these fields to blank. And if they're blank, you're going to get a notification saying that you have to enter something in here. So let's enter some information. Let's type in simple password, and this is where the API comes into play. There's an email validation API that's used to validate the format of the email. So if we type in something invalid, it's going to let us know. If we type in a valid email address and save, it's going to pop us back into the home screen where we can log in. So we'll log in with the information we just created. And this will take us to another view. This is the customer view. From here, the customer can go into their profile. They can sign out or make an appointment. If they have an appointment, it'll show up here as well. So first we'll go into the profile and show you what's here. From within the profile, user can change their avatar. It'll give them some information. They can change their email address or password. So we'll start by choosing the avatar, and they can choose from either their library or they can take a picture with the camera. In this case, because it's only a demonstration, if the camera is not available, it's going to default to the library. So we'll click camera. It's going to default over to the library. We'll select this as our avatar and save it. So from here, we can edit the email address. If we wanted to edit the email address, it would update it right here as well, and it would save it in the core data system. Same with the password, prompts them to change to whatever they like. So we'll go back and let's make an appointment. When you click the appointment, it takes us to another view, and this is the appointment view, which is a table view list of all the different barbers that are available. You can click on any of the names and it lets the user set an appointment time and date. So let's say we want to have something for the 1st of December to be fresh the whole month of December. We can select a date and a time and then save it. This will jump us right back into the customer view and show the actual appointment. From here, now we're able to edit or delete the appointment. So we'll first edit it. And let's say our prior barber is not available anymore. We can click on Steven, for example, and let's set the date to same date, but let's say we want to come in a little earlier. We'll set to be 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. and save it. So here it's updated to Steven. Now, let's say we just found out we're not going to be able to make it that date. We got prior engagements. We can delete that appointment and it'll remove it from records. So now we can sign out and we're back to the home screen. And that's really it.